Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yesterday we learned about tapes, various kinds of tapes. I showed you some videos. Hope you're able to visualize it. Now we move on to the next topic. So what is tape media management? Though many of these actions, I mean, will happen automatically, but still learning about them, knowing about them would really help. So what happens? This is like a step-by-step process. So when you take a empty tape cartridge, the new tape, it is, and you put it into the drive. So you saw how robotic arms take tapes and put them into drives, right? Tape drives. So the moment you put first, it will be in this state called as undiscovered. From undiscovered, it will move to spare. Okay. Now, at this stage, still no data has been written to that particular tape, and it is ready to be written. Once it's in the spare, it is like ready to be written. Okay. Then once the actual read and write operations start happening onto the tape, it moves into something called as this active media group. Okay. Active media means the media which is actually getting written, rewritten, or uh, getting deleted. So for the first time when it is getting written, it's called as assigned active. When the same tape is being read and overwriting is happening, then it moves into something called as assigned but appendable. When the tape becomes full, it becomes assigned full. Okay, no more write operations possible. And then if there are any media, tape media kind of issues, then it becomes assigned bad. That means read and write is not possible onto that particular tape anymore because maybe some magnetic sectors got bad or there were scratches and all that. So then you move this kind of bad tapes into something called as retired media group. So retired media group will not be any purpose. You can expel them from the thing. Then yesterday we learnt about one more kind of storage called as warm. Write once, read many. Correct? If you remember. Hey, what's happening? Why is it switching Windows? So once a tape is full, and if you apply warm on it, it goes into this kind of a pool where I'm showing my mouse pointer now, called as overwrite protect media group. That means once written, you cannot overwrite it anymore. It becomes something called as warm tape drive. Okay, WORM warm. Uh, Once a tape becomes full, you can age the data into which is written onto it because maybe retention has been expired. The tape media is still healthy, so you can do further reads and writes on that. So after any tape gets aged, that means the retention period on it gets expired. You can do two things. Either can make it a warm tape, that means no more overwriting on that, or you can send it for overwriting. So when you send it for overwriting, all the content on that tape is lost. It becomes a spade drive again, and this cycle continues. Okay. So like this, you can keep reusing the tapes. And there are special kinds of tapes which are used to read write the which are used to clean the read write head. So those are called as cleaning media. So there are separate tapes that will be assigned as cleaning media. So whenever the tape drive has to go under this kind of cleaning process, this cleaning media gets loaded onto the tape drive and it helps to clean the read write head. Now, why that cleaning is required? See, on tape, it's nothing but iron oxide, rust, okay? And that iron oxide filaments, upon repeated rubbing onto the read-write head, they create, certain deposits that affects inaccurate read and write of the data uh, from the tape drives. So that is the reason why regular cleaning of tape drives are essential for accurate read and write from tapes. Okay. Any questions on this tape media management? No?
Also,
Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead. I wanted to talk about this vaulting because this is pretty important. It is used for system recovery also these days. So all of you know about vaults, right? Bank vaults. So tapes are also kept in certain vaults like this. And as I told you in the last class, there is this company or there are companies whose business is actually maintaining these data tapes. One of them is Iron Mountain. Okay. So let me just show you. Okay, so you see this.
Daughter's wedding is in a month. I don't want us to look like Beauty and the Beast.
Darling, relax.
Okay.
Important part of any data backup strategy is offsite storage. This is an Iron Mountain media vaulting facility. Here, backup tapes are carefully protected against every conceivable threat, whether natural or man-made. From the outside, these facilities offer no clue as to the valuable contents within. There are no identifying signs or logos. Vehicles arrive at a secure loading dock. But to enter this facility is to enter a world of strict security protocols. Every entrance is protected by a double security layer. For visitors and employees, the first layer is the man trap. Here they must wait to be recognized before being allowed to enter. Visitors must produce a government-issued ID and wear a special visitor's badge. These visitors require an escort at all times. Movement within the facility requires a magnetic key card. Each of these locked doors represents another security layer surrounding the vaults. Drivers entering the loading area must also pass through several security layers. This locked perimeter fence can only be opened from inside the building after the driver has been positively identified. All doors are locked to protect the shipping and staging areas, and in turn, the vaults. Every entrance to the building is protected by at least two intrusion detection systems. These include motion detectors, glass breakage detectors, and magnetic door contact sensors. These systems are watched by our own security staff, plus monitored 24 hours a day by an off-site security firm. In addition, crucial access points are monitored by closed-circuit television cameras inside and out. We also enlist the services of a well-established security firm to perform surprise audits. At random times and locations, an auditor will take advantage of any opportunity to gain unauthorized access to a facility. These audits include both daytime and nighttime attempts and provide a true assessment of our security measures. Our chief security officer oversees a full-time safety and security staff whose only job is to protect the assets of Iron Mountain and our customers. By continually studying and improving the effectiveness of security programs throughout the company. At Iron Mountain, our goal is to minimize all possible risks to your information entrusted with us. Our industry-leading secure facilities are one way we make that happen. Iron Mountain, protecting the world's information.
And let me just show you how a tape vault looks like. So this is how a vault looks like. See there, tapes are mounted and their location, their barcode, their relevance, everything is maintained. So those tapes which arrive in the van, they are checked like this. Their barcodes are scanned and they are placed in their respective location inside those vaults. So anybody knows where which tape is present. So every slot is numbered, and according to the numbers, the tapes are maintained here like this. These are all temperature and humidity controlled so that it has minimum impact on the media itself. Fire proofing is also there, and these are larger vaults. Okay, so what Commvault can do is Commvault has a API integration with Iron Mountain software. Okay, so if a customer is using Iron Mountain's tape vaulting service, Commvault can directly integrate with it online, and sitting inside your data center through the Commvault console, you can track or keep a track of where your tapes are within any given Iron Mountain facility across the globe. Okay, so that is what this Vault tracker does. Any questions? Any questions? Okay. Now we talk about other kinds of storages that can be attached apart from tape. So we saw about tapes. So in order to start using any other kind of storage, you need to know how to go and access that storage. Okay, so this is the way you do it. So if this is the Java console, you go into this section called a library and drive. In the modern one, you can do it under storage resources, and you say, I want to add a library. Then it asks what kind of library. So these are all the types of libraries that are supported. Okay. We'll not go into details of all the others. We'll only talk about disk library, replica disk library is not applicable anymore, and cloud storage library, because tape we have already understood. Any questions? Okay. So now we go into a important topic about how to save space on the library where you're storing your data. Okay. Because just imagine your number of copies of data that you store are much higher than capacity wise, it's much higher than your single copy of data which you use constantly. What do I mean by this? Let us say you are trying to back up your phone to Google Drive, just for an example. Let us say your phone has 256 GB SD card and it's completely full. You are backing it up. Okay. Generally, you back up every day once. Correct. So at the end of the fourth day, this 256 GB of data should have been copied four times, isn't it? Day one once, day two another time, day three, and day four. So four copies of the same 256 GB data of your phone is being copied to Google Drive. So what should be the total use capacity inside Google Drive? Can anybody tell me? If 256 GB of data is being backed up every day, and I back up 4 days consecutively, what should be the total size of my backed up data? Anyone?
The 1 TB.
1 TB. Correct. But does it actually happen like that?
No, sir.
No. Correct. Why? Have you ever thought about it?
It will keep only the latest backup.
Then what about my previous point in times? Let us suppose that my latest backup was corrupted. If I use that to restore my restored data also will get corrupted. Then I will lose both my good copy as well as my previous copy. The answer is right there on your screen. One process that allows you to reduce the amount of data that you're storing on a disk-based system. This does work. Okay. It works only on disk storage and cloud storage. Okay. It is called as deduplication. Okay. Deduplication. Can you tell me what does deduplication mean? At a very high level, in your own language. Doesn't have to be correct also. Whatever you think this word means, you tell. Come on, it's just English.
Removing like
Yeah, removing.
and keeping only one, or reducing the redundancy.
Not reducing the redundancy, but removing duplicates. That's the correct thing. Okay, that's the correct answer. But at what level? That is the most important thing here. Okay. At what level are we removing the duplicates? That is the most important thing to understand. What do I mean by what level? So let me give a few examples. Let us have, uh, you know, multiple contacts in your phone. Okay. One of them was your classmate earlier, or college mate, or maybe colleague. Okay. And later that person became your friend. You gave them a nickname. Okay. And you saved it as a separate number in your phone. Separate name in your phone. The number is the same. When you say merge duplicates in your phone contacts, what happens? It removes one entry which is referring to the same data set and keeps only the other. Correct? So that physically you are storing only one number. Correct? That is the simplest form of removing duplicates. Okay? And saving some space. Now let me give you a little more practical example in our environment or in our scheme of things. Let us say I sent a attachment to all of you, okay, saying, hey guys, please read this. Maybe it's a PDF file. Okay, that PDF file, let us say, is 10 MB in size. Now, I also give you access to a OneDrive, okay, where you can generally store information. Now, what all of you do is you take that 10 MB attachment that has come to your mail, okay. Some of you store it on your laptop, some of it, let's say, store it on that OneDrive to which you have access, okay. Now, obviously, if you have stored it separately on different laptops, the same thing, then put together 10 MB into 5, 50 MB is being utilized across 5 laptops. Okay. But the other 5 people who stored it on, let us say that all of you stored on the same location in the OneDrive. So logically speaking, OneDrive should have occupancy of 50 MB, right? 10 MB into 5 people storing it. So 50 MB should be occupied. But is that what it happens? No. What OneDrive does is for every user, it will show that it is giving you your copy. Okay. But in the backend, it is going to have only one version of that file and only give pointers to everybody else. Okay. So in Azure data center, only 10 MB is being utilized. But we are getting a feeling that 50 MB is getting utilized. Okay. So that's another example of deduplication. But there where at what level the deduplication is happening at the file level. Okay. The entire file is being taken as one data block. And if any other file matches that entire data block byte to byte, it will consider it as a duplicate and it will store only one copy of that data. Okay. That's at a file level. But doing it at a file level has its own disadvantages. What some portions of the file may change, let's say maybe 1% or 2%, and the remaining 99 or 98% may still remain the same. Then this file level deduplication doesn't work well because it will treat that second file, which has got only 1% change, also to be another completely unique file and save that separately. So you could have saved 2 files in, let's say, some in 12 MB. Sorry, it is not considering those small changes inside the file. It is taking the whole file as a whole as one data block, and hence you are have instead of 12 MB, you have to now store 20 MB. Okay, so it's not a very efficient way of doing deduplication. So that is why what the industry does today is it breaks up every file and content into further small chunks, okay, called as data block. The size of each data block depends on which vendor is using their own deduplication algorithm. Okay, some do it with 64 kilobytes data block, some do it with 128 kilobytes, some do it with 512 kilobytes, some do it at 1 MB data block size, like that. Whatever is the data block size doesn't matter. Every incoming stream of data that is supposed to be written onto the backup destination or backup target or the disk library, it will go to this algorithm of deduplication where that entire file will be broken down into this predefined size of data blocks and print is going to get created at a separate location. Okay. And that separate location is called this deduplication database, what you see at bottom. Okay. This deduplication, it's nothing but a fingerprint table or a table or a repository of all unique data blocks in this library storing the data. Okay. After it starts creating this deduplication database, this is a ever changing, ever evolving database. Okay. Because new data keeps coming in every time, all the time. Okay. And as and when a new data comes in, and every data is down into these chunks or blocks, every block of incoming data is going to be compared to all the blocks that are already there in the deduplication database or in the signature database or in the fingerprint table. Okay. Doesn't matter what you call it. Okay. But the logic remains the same. Every block of new incoming data will be broken down into chunks or blocks, smaller blocks, and every small block is going to be compared to all the existing blocks that are already present in the deduplication database. If the new block which has come in is brand new, that means it has no equivalent data block already written or already mentioned in the deduplication database, it will treat it to be a new block and it will make an entry of that block in the deduplication database and allow that new block to be written directly onto the disk library in the backend or the storage library in the backend. Okay. But if it finds an existing reference for that data block already present in the deduplication database, it will to the disk library. It will only update its pointer saying that, okay, whenever this data block is being referred to by any backup job or a restore, you have to refer to this data block. Only thing, location will be different. So that small additional metadata is what it is going to save. And the duplicate block is completely discarded. Does this process make sense? Do you understand this? Any questions on this process? This is called as the deduplication process, which happens within Commvault automatically after the initial configuration. Certain aspects you can control, like where this deduplication database has to be stored, what should be the block size. Okay, so such low level configuration parameters you can tweak, you can change the behavior of the deduplication algorithm as per the customer's environment and as per the customer's data set. Okay, which block size will give you the highest deduplication ratio? You can choose that block size. Okay. Any questions?
No,
One
sir.
important point. Okay, thank you. One important point of consideration is this deduplication database or wherever you're keeping this in whichever path, that disk has to be very, very fast. It should be on SSD drives. Okay. Better if it is on SLC kind of SSD drives so that the performance is fastest, because any delay in writing to this or looking up data or searching data into this will cause the entire backup process to slow down. And as we have understood yesterday, it is very, very important that backups complete within time. Otherwise, we will lose that previous point in time. Okay. And because of this reason, this deduplication database location or path, wherever you are giving, has to be a path of a disk which is high performance and low latency. Okay. And those hardware requirements are again mentioned in the Commvault official documentation page. So we can refer to that when you're doing the sizing for any new Commvault environment. Okay. Okay. Now, how do you actually get this working and how it ties to this entire process of storing the data in the most efficient manner that is explained here. Okay. So we already know these two components, client and media agent, correct? Then we also know what is a storage policy, right? So storage policy defines what needs to be protected, where it needs to be protected, when it needs to be protected, how many copies of it need to be maintained, and till when retention it should be kept. Okay. It will define the retention. So all this will be mentioned in the storage policy. Okay. Then comes another policy which is not modified so often, but done only like once during the initial installation, and then later maybe when the environment grows very large. Okay, that's called as global deduplication policy. So this is where you define the various low-level configuration parameters of the deduplication algorithm, which is going to be used to save space whenever the data is being written from the media agent to the backend storage library, which could be a disk library, which could be a cloud library. Okay. So what are those parameters that you can configure? The path of the deduplication database, the block size, okay, how many partitions they should be in the database. So all those things you can configure here, and that configuration is called as global deduplication policy. Okay. Now stressing on the word global. All right. Which means that once you apply this policy, it will be applicable to all the systems which are writing data to this particular disk library or storage library in the backend. Okay, as the backup target or backup destination. You can have multiple such global deduplication policies. You can have one policy per this backend storage. Okay. So as and when you're doing implementations, you will get to know more details about how this is done. Any questions? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. We will not talk about this because this is no longer applicable in the new versions. This is also not applicable. This is pretty important. Um, the deduplication database, I said, its short form is DDB, deduplication database, DDB. So many Commvault people have been working with Commvault for many years. They'll keep using this word DDB. Now this DDB, it's a high transactional database. Okay, lots of reads and writes are happening very, very frequently at sub-millisecond response times. Okay, and the media agent server is constantly reading and writing to this deduplication database. Okay, but there are some scenarios where this deduplication database can get affected. And as we have understood, any detrimental impact on this deduplication database has a direct correlation to the backup speed, the backup performance, and the backup jobs themselves. What are these scenarios? One is if you do an unplanned shutdown. Okay. The DDB may get corrupt. Okay. When it gets corrupted, obviously then media agent is not able to read or write to it, and hence it stalls or pauses all the backup jobs. Okay. Then what you have to do, you have to perform something called as DDB reconstruction, deduplication database reconstruction. So how will that reconstruction happen? It will go into the one restore point that is stored in the master server. Okay. And from there, it will start reading all the data that was stored in the backend and start rebuilding the DDB or deduplication database. And this process takes a lot of time. Okay. And while this process is happening, again, you cannot have any backups running. Okay. So it is very critical to have this DDB on available, very secure and very robust kind of disk infrastructure. Else we may have problems later. So once you have enough experience on working with Commvault, you will get to know the finer nuances of the various things that can go wrong in a DDB and how to make sure that in the future it doesn't happen. Okay. Some other scenarios that may affect the DDB is whichever hard disks this DDB is stored on, those hard disks may get faulty. So always the DDB also needs to be backed up so that you can restore it whenever required. Okay. So once you run the job, see the deduplication will look like, okay. Under storage resources, you will see deduplication engines. Under that, for every kind of storage, you will see one deduplication database being created. And you will see the path where that DDB is being stored. Okay. And what you can do regularly is you can run data verification jobs on the DDB to make sure that the DDB is actually healthy. Okay. And you can see the uh, okay, that a job gets started and verification of deduplication database can be run in order to make sure that the DDB is healthy. From time to time, you can run this. Okay. Any questions until what we have discussed so far? No? Okay. So what we are going to do now is we are going to get into practicals. Okay. Enough of theory. Now start learning hands-on. Okay. Time for some fun. So our good friend Bhanu Teja, he has become a kind of a expert on Commvault. So Bhanu Teja is going to show us how in your existing laptop you can create a virtual machine and how you can get Commvault installed on that virtual machine. Bhanu, in 10 minutes, can you show it? Don't go through that entire process of deduplication, just the beginning.
Mm, sir, can I show it tomorrow, sir? I'm still in traveling.
You're on your laptop.
Hello?
You're not on your laptop.
No, sir. I'm still in traveling.
Okay. Okay, no issues. So let me show it to people. Okay. So uh, just a minute. Okay. So do you know this something called as VMware Workstation? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are all of you using it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
On your laptops currently?
Sir.
Okay. If you are not, once you install VMware Workstation on your laptop, it's just a simple executable. You will get this kind of a GUI, and you can use this VMware Workstation to create a new virtual machine. So here they are showing installation of Kali Linux or CentOS, Kali Linux, and you can give the disk size. So based on your hardware configuration, you can allocate processors, number of disks, and memory, and you can launch that virtual machine from your laptop. Okay, so this is where you can download it from. So once you have downloaded the VMware Workstation, you ping me. Okay, I will give you the link to the Commvault binaries. Okay, it's there in our OneDrive, so I will share it with you all. And then from the coming class onwards, whenever we are learning any particular concept, we will try to parallelly see it in the console. Okay, in the Commvault console, how exactly it looks like, what are the various options available, so on and so forth. Okay, so can you all have VMware Workstation installed on your laptops by tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
it's going to be very helpful, and not just for Commvault now, for later all the other topics that we are going to learn, it will be helpful for that also. So please have VMware Workstation downloaded and installed on your laptop. Tomorrow, Bhanu will show us how to do the basic installation of a master server, media agent, and client. So you will learn that tomorrow. And so please do not miss tomorrow's class. And once you also start doing that installation, we will move to the hands-on stage. Okay,
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, sir.
done then. Any questions? Any questions? Any doubts?
Sir, doubt is that tomorrow is a holiday or you need to join that.
See, boss, for me, though, I don't have any holiday. So Monday to Friday, whatever we have started, I think let's continue.
Yeah, sir. No worry. Yeah. Sure, sure.
Okay, fine then. So we'll meet again tomorrow. Thank you for your time today. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.